And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
So there I was. Oh my gosh, I just flipped over. I just got the guy all wet. I got him all wet. I flipped over a 64-ounce pitcher of water on the guy in the front row. What the heck was I thinking? Oh my gosh, have you been there? I was there. I was giving a presentation. Here I am with a group of people, a wonderful group of people. But unfortunately, no matter what I did, I could not connect with these folks. And I was driving myself crazy. I was using everything I ever learned on how to connect with an audience, and I'm pacing back and forth. And I'm here in my own mind. I'm thinking, I've got to connect with these human beings. And then divine intervention sets in. And have you ever seen those conference tables, the thin ones, the skinny long ones, they put them out there at the conference meetings, and they're up front for me. Somebody left me a nice 64-ounce pitcher of water and a couple glasses there with ice, and it was such a nice gesture. But as I'm in the front of the room trying to connect with this group, get this going, I stood in front of an audience that just stared at me. They just stared at me with a blank expression on their face, just staring at me. And if you ever had that happen before, it is kind of eerie. It is kind of eerie. And as they're all staring at me, I'm thinking there's got to be something I could say. There's got to be something I can do that will connect with this group of people. And again, I'm going back to everything I've ever learned about effectively communicating and trying to connect with these folks. And then all of a sudden, in my haste, in my pacing, I hit the table. And this pitcher jumps off the table, and I bumped into it, hits the floor, bounces. It was on a plastic clear pitcher, bounces up in the air with all the water in it, and covers the guy in the front row. Now I'm thoroughly embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. I just drenched a guy in the front row mistakenly with a pitcher of water. So I run over, I grab a whole stack of napkins off another table. I run over there, and I start wiping this guy off on my knee and apologizing to him for getting him all wet. And the whole place erupts. I mean, it just erupts. They're all laughing. They're, look at Phil. Look, that's me. He's down on his knees wiping the guy off. He's wiping him off. And this guy in the front row is just kind of looking at me like, seriously, you're doing this. You are actually wiping the water off me. Yes, I am, sir. And I'm really sorry because I did not mean to get you all wet. And as I'm wiping this guy off, it hits me in that moment. I've connected. I've connected with everybody in the room. They're all laughing. It is hysterical in the room, and everybody is laughing, and it took this crazy thing to happen. So why would I share this with you today? Because there's so many ways that you can try to open a presentation, so many ways that you can try to connect with an audience. And you come up with all these great ideas, and sometimes they just don't happen. And it's the realest of situations in life that connect with people. Think about your favorite comedy shows. Think about the famous show Seinfeld on TV, just common sense, real life humor in what's going on around us. And so, as Dale Carnegie found, if you really want to connect with people when you're sharing, start with a story. Tell a story. So there I was, like I started this conversation with you today, in a very embarrassing moment, trying to connect with an audience. And by starting with a story, what you do is you immediately bring people in to what you're talking about. Because people are innately curious. They want to understand. They want to be part of it. And when you share that story, it pulls them in. And it shows that, you know what, you've been there. You've earned the right. You've done it. You know what it's like to be there. And I tell you the story, being so embarrassed and not being able to connect, it's scary out there. But when you finally break the ice and then it connects and you're like, boom, it's like everything snaps into place. And if there was a way you could do this every single time, you'd do it. So let's go back to what Dale Carnegie shared with us. Let's start with the story. Let's start with what he called the magic formula. Share the story. Share the action out of the story and the benefit of what you learned through that experience. So in my experience, of course, sometimes there's divine intervention, and let it happen and let the story play out. And from that, when you do, what you'll show the people in the room is that you are a human. You can be connected. And the benefit is it gets them all engaged with what you're talking about because it's real. So the next time you want to start a presentation, yeah, you could ask a profound question. That's cool. You could make a startling statement of something profound as well. And if you really want to connect with the emotions of your audience, tell a story. Tell a story, a real story that people can find humor in, that people can enjoy, or people can find just your empathy and your compassion to connect with you. And by doing this, hey, you're not going to worry about how you start a presentation. You've got this because you now have a story to tell right after this show. Make it a great day. You've got this. I'm counting on you.